and Sage coming in with a bang, as always, saying, frig off with Rich. Well, yesterday the stream was canceled because we didn't have anything to go over. And frankly, today we don't have anything to go over as well. But as a Packers fan, I am obliged to go over the fact that special teams coordinator Rich Bisaccia, Pistachio, whatever the hell his fucking name is, he has resigned and stepped down as special teams coordinator for the Packers. Whoever our underling was, our assistant special teams coordinator, they bolted for Cleveland. Now, this puts us in a bit of a hilarious predicament to me. So it's a bit of a hilarious predicament because all the Packers fans were clamoring for us to fire Rich Pistachio. Pistachio. Let's just call him Pistachio and be done with it. And anyways, Pistachio doesn't get fired. He steps down, and now it might be one of those be careful what you wish for scenarios because here's the fact of the matter. I believe it's been 11 special teams coordinators that were hired, including one that would have been an internal, an internal hiring. So, is there really that many good options out there for the Packers to pick from? Because, you're talking about this, we're 5 weeks removed from the Packers playing the Chicago Bears in the playoffs, and I don't know. The grass ain't always greener on the other side now. I do not know why he resigned. Pistachio, not sure why Pistachio resigned. It could be, maybe there was a meeting. The Packers are transitioning potentially to a bit more of a 3-4 defense rather than a 4-3 with Jonathan Gannon joining the helm. And maybe they don't want to use special teams players the same way they did before, which was like, we had some guys that were exclusively special teams players, which I think is bullshit. I think, some of the stuff that he did was bad. He did improve our special teams. Our special teams for 2.5 decades has been the worst in the league. Prior to the Pistachio joining us, he did make some improvements, that sort of thing. I think if you're looking for a new special teams coordinator, I think you need to try to go with upside. You cannot go with guys that Matt LaFleur knows and worked with before because the guy that was in Atlanta is garbage. The guy that was in St. Louis that has ties is garbage. Got fired last year by the Rams. And I think you need to look for someone up and coming. Now, college special teams is a lot different than NFL special teams, from what I understand. But you might want to find, an assistant down there or an assistant in the NFL. I don't know, the assistant for Seattle, perhaps, or Detroit. Makes a little bit of sense, perhaps. They're a bit different. But you're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to do some digging. The good news is it's not like you have a time constraint where you have to find someone, otherwise you're going to get, fucked out of all the guys that are remaining. All the jobs are full, so you could take fucking months and months if you wanted. But kind of interesting, the timing of Pistachio leaving. Makes you wonder, there was a meeting. They didn't really see eye to eye on what was going down. But I think, probably maybe is a good thing to have a 65-year-old kind of leave. Try to find an up-and-comer. You don't need some fucking geezer at the helm. You can probably find someone a bit younger and get a fresh perspective, and maybe that'll help things. But one thing I will say, our punting was pretty good last year. Could have been better, sure. There are certain ways that we can improve our special teams, I do believe. But it doesn't matter if your kicker sucks. Let's face it, Brandon McManus was terrible last year. He was injured, and Brian Gutekunst, GM of the Packers, gave him credit for playing through an injury. But at the same time, maybe Rich Pistachio should have went to Brian Gutekunst and said, hey, maybe he's too banged up to be playing. That's the only role he could play. Because if your kicker sucks, you can't fix that. You can't fix that. If everything's working well, you can't fix that. So you got to hope that either McManus improves next year or he gets cut and you find someone better. Bring in real competition there. Whalen and the punting team did okay. I still think there's places we can improve, but I'm not a special teams expert. Not going to claim to be. I would just say go for some young fuck who thinks outside the box, thinks a bit a bit more forward thinking, and just kind of take a chance on upside. I mean, what do you really have to lose when your special teams has sucked so bad? Funny thing is, this is now 4 special teams coordinators that Matt LaFleur has been through during his tenure since 2019. So it appears that Matt LaFleur is kind of a piece of shit in a few respects. Respectfully saying, doesn't seem like he knows how to find a special teams coordinator. Seems like the only fucking defensive coordinator he could find was what's his face there, Jeff Hafley, who went on to the Dolphins. We'll see how this Jonathan Gannon one pans out, but the other 2 we had before, Joe Barry, and then that other fuck before him that cost us a Super Bowl, that fuck for Mike Patton. It doesn't seem like that really worked out too good for the Packers. So I really question Matt LaFleur. I think, like I said it many, many times before, he needs to focus less on his eyebrows and his fucking eyelashes and, his fucking hair. And he needs to focus on what's in front of him, which is our fucking success of the Packers. If he wants to keep it up, he can go to fucking Tennessee, and we'll take fucking Brian Dable, because that's where I'm at right now with this son of a bitch. Sure, he can craft up some good fucking plays on offense until it comes point to win the game, and he just gets conservative as fuck and loses his goddamn creativity. Basically, his fucking balls don't drop, and he's a little bitch. But let's just move off of this right now. We're going to take a look at the comments. Sage says, as a non-Titans fan, I'm obliged to get the hell out of here. Well, Sage, I actually got a little bit of a news thing there. Brian Dable was talking today about how he's very excited to work with Cam Ward, and that was a big reason why he went to Tennessee. So there's your Titans filler for the day. And moving off that, we've got Minkah Fitzpatrick kind of on the trade block right now. So if your team needs a safety / corner, slot corner, I would say, then, that might be a good guy to call there. Call the Dolphins and they'll fucking send them your way there. And kind of hilarious here, the Chiefs restructured Patrick Mahomes today. It saved them $43.6 million against the salary cap this year. The 4th year in a row where the Chiefs have done this with Patrick Mahomes' contract. And next year, they'll be on the hook to pay him $78.2 million. So just kind of funny how you can kind of free up money. The salary cap doesn't exist until it does. Because eventually, you kick that can down the road too many times, you're going to have to spend 2 or 3 seasons in the sin bin eventually. It does look like the goddamn Cincinnati Bengals are gathering some information about Trey Hendrickson and his market. I think if they're smart, they should franchise tag him. Now, I'm being told by RotoWorld that this isn't... I don't know what the hell they're really saying here. Let me just quickly read through it so I don't make a mistake. I don't know. I don't know what the hell that means. I think if you're in that situation, you franchise tag him, keep him for $30 million, or trade him. That's what I would do there. I'll save this other part for maybe tomorrow or the next stream. If there really isn't much going on, it's just more Packers stuff. We'll try to keep it Packers centric for the next little while. So we'll go with that for now. Rich Bisaccia. We'll keep an eye on who they hire. I don't give a fuck, really. Just try to think outside the box. Looks like Rashee Rice might be in some trouble, so we'll keep an eye on that. Other than that, unless Sage, you got some, Olympics news you want me to cover, I think we're going to get the hell out of here. So, Sage, is there anything that I forgot to go over today that you think would be important for the Thundercast to go over? Just say no, we'll get the fuck out of here, okay? That's not Sage, so I cannot say that is a. Sage says he will bring the news soon, which means not tonight. Well, there you go. We covered it. After the semifinals, Sage will break some news for us. I believe he's talking about hockey. And we'll keep an eye on that there. All right. Until next time, have a good night and go fuck yourself, San Diego.